No newspapers today in Russia. Monday and Tuesday are national holidays. But here are some of the papers from last week when I was away from Moscow on a work trip. I've now had a look through some of them. In a moment, Russians actively economise on food due to rising prices. First, the Russian public continues to be told that the West is out to get them. For example, in Arguments and Facts, the Secretary of Russia's Security Council, Sergei Shoigu, complains of aggressive external pressure on Russia, on the whole of our society. But what of the external pressure Russia is putting on Ukraine? Keep in mind, it was Russia that invaded Ukraine and continues to wage war there. Sergei Shoigu claims that Russia's enemies want to divide our motherland into dozens of tiny states in order to cow them into submission, exploit them. The military paper Krasnaya Zvezda, Red Star, claims that Western elites recklessly continue to steer their countries towards a direct military confrontation with Russia. Their chief military instrument, NATO, is openly preparing for war with our country. Donald Trump won't like this. After appearing to suggest that America will resume nuclear testing, in Komsomolskaya Pravda, a Russian political scientist explained the ignorance of the US president. The Russian government paper Rossiyskaya Gazeta reports the authorities in Nizhny Novgorod, Tambov and Yaroslavl regions recruit reservists to protect oil refineries and other facilities. It emerged recently that in Leningrad region they're selecting 105 reservists to protect the skies from Ukrainian drones. For this purpose, Snow Leopard 47 unit is being created. Other regions are following suit. In several regions, the authorities have started hiring reservists primarily to protect oil refineries. Now, this is a sign of how damaging recent Ukrainian drone attacks on Russian oil installations have been. Talking of oil, Moskovsky Komsomolets reports that the market price for petrol has started to drop. In 3 days, the price of 92 petrol fell by 12%, 95 petrol by 8%. But it's too soon to relax. Petrol and diesel prices at the pumps continue to rise. From petrol to Poseidon, the nuclear-powered doomsday torpedo, as Komsomolskaya Pravda calls it, unveiled by Vladimir Putin. When it comes to developing weapons, big ones, like the Burevestnik nuclear-powered cruise missile, featured in Arguments and Facts, it appears that Russia has money for that. By contrast, Kommersant reports that citizens have begun to actively economise on food. Between September and October, sales of basic food products in physical terms fell by 5% year on year. For example, according to analysts, milk sales fell 8% in this period. Sales of buckwheat were down 9% and rice down 10%. That's because food prices have been rising. These are the latest official figures from the Russian Statistics Agency. Year on year, frozen fish prices are up 27.7%, the price of tomatoes up 20.23%, cheese is 17.11% more expensive, the price of vodka up 15.29%, beef prices are up 15.16%, milk prices up 15.02%, brown bread is 13.94% more expensive, white bread 12.85% more expensive, pork prices have risen 11.59%, and the price of sunflower oil is up 11.37%. What's more, for whole groups of products, there is a year-on-year decline in consumer spending. For example, on household appliances, furniture, goods for construction and DIY, clothing and footwear. Nezavisima Gazeta reports that fish, tomatoes, cheese are now rising in price much faster than annual inflation, and month on month price rises on potatoes and eggs, which have already shocked consumers recently with their price tags, are accelerating again. Izvestia reports that companies have increased the hiring of freelancers at a record pace because companies want to reduce costs against the backdrop of high rates and changes in the tax burden. Freelancers don't need to be provided with a vacation or a workplace, and insurance premiums are not paid when working with the self-employed. However, such employees have fewer social guarantees.